share. There we go. Boom. This is the Facebook coaching live coaching call. Let me get my act together here. And we do have some new people, so maybe this is going to be your first time on or watching it in the replay. And so let me just introduce myself. I'm Casey Cole Corbin. I'm a certified life coach and counselor for about 20 years. And we would love to know what life circumstances have brought you to be ready to be super successful as a fluid art teacher. So please comment that in the chat. That'd be really fun for people to add there. As many of you know, my story is I was fired. So this led to many different learning opportunities for me. And I just remember that really hot feeling of fear in the pit of my stomach as I faced this immediate challenge of feeding my family of 6. And so some of you may have just seen my cute little video that I did with my youngest, my 9-year-old, Gus. All right. Let me tell you something, right? When they fire you, they don't have to give you a severance or any of the saved time that you have up, right? You know, so I didn't even know if I was going to be able to be paid, right? So I was fired on November 28th of 2016. So my very first month of being unemployed was December. And so I needed to ramp up this fluid art teaching business to replace my full-time income during Christmas. And guess what? I did. And so I want to teach you how. So that's going to be our topic for today. My heart is to help lead everybody here up the 5-step success path. And so I'm really, really glad that you're here. And so guess what, everybody? Kathy's back. Yay. She took a little leave of absence, being a very good wife, taking care of her husband. And so Kathy, say hi to everybody.
Hey there. Glad to be back. He's doing very well, by the way.
Hey, I am so glad. Yeah. Your husband is a wonderful person. I got the opportunity to meet him in person when you were coming through Valdosta that time. Yes. So that was a lot of fun.
I wish I could have stopped back by when we came back down, but we knew we were coming about 24 hours before we hit the road.
I wish you could. Yeah, that would have been great. All right. Well, I want to welcome our new members. And so tonight I want to welcome Nani Hicks. I'm just terrible at pronouncing names, so please forgive me if that's incorrect. And Amy Artwick. And I don't know, Amy, if this is actually your last name is Artwick, or if it's an amazing coincidence, or if actually you joined by your page. And that's because Artwick, that is great to have that as your name. And then Elaine Henderson. So thank you guys for joining us. We're really, really glad that you're here. Always like to do a bit of a review for our from last month's call. And so last time was about marketing for artsy types. Now let me tell you what we're going to do today. Okay, our agenda, I'm going to pop back up here so you can see that, is that we got 8 items on our to-do list. We've already knocked out 2 of them. And so if you have any questions, if you can put it in the Q&A, and Kathy, what she wants to do is to, she'll be kind of informing me and asking questions for you. So if you type those into the chat, then we'll have a much more interesting conversation. It is still our goal to get through what is these 14 pages in 30 minutes. So we got to hit it, but then we're going to save the Q&A for the majority of the Q&A will be at the end. So anybody who wants to just come for the topic, then you can take off after that point. So I think that seems fair. I think that's a good middle ground for us. So we'll get through all of our agenda items in 30 minutes, and then we'll back up and do Q&A. All right. So back to where we were with the review of last month. I just want to remind you of a few things. In answer to these questions, what are you known for, and what problems can you solve for your students? And what is in your story that others can identify with or gain insight for their own lives? Now, remember, like we talked about last month, how you answer these questions conveys whether or not your prospective student, the person who's checking you out, see if they want to come to your class, will consider that you are capable, clear, convincing, and consistent enough to be able to help them. And then we had whole paragraphs under each one of those 3 C words there. All right. We also talked about doing online classes and how it's a win-win-win for all the parties involved. In my case, I offered them for my venues to be able to distribute. And so the venue won, and the members of the venue, they got a free course, and I won because they wanted to come to my classes. And so it's working well. Just wanted to tell you that. All right. We're doing site reviews. And Kathy, we got any questions or anything yet?
No. You know, I'm kind of behind you on my tablet. My
How are you?
phone is more up, yeah, but my tablet doesn't seem to be doing too much.
Oh, okay. All right. You're gonna have to
So
get a laptop. Old joke. Okay. It's a sore spot. Don't say that to Kathy. All right. All right. So the way that we're doing, we were doing trying to do site reviews within this time. So we removed that and we're making it its own standalone. So it's our first standalone site review, Facebook business site review is going to be Maggie. Maggie has volunteered to do this in exactly a week. Okay. So it's going to be 9 p.m. next Wednesday, and we're going to take a look at her site. And I know that it's going to be a very interesting one because Maggie is very interesting and she does a really professional job. So it's going to be really, really good. So today's topic is going to be the 10 strategies for overcoming the seasonal lows of the Christmas season, and also the January and February economy slump. So that's kind of my perspective, and others that I've talked to is that November. Brenda, I think it was you that commented that November is also kind of slow for people. People's attention starts to shift, and so the highs and lows are just a part of business that makes making a profit from your pouring passion difficult or challenging. Whether you are selling, teaching, or both, your income will benefit from using these 10 strategies. Now, all businesses from some degree or another have these annual highs and lows, but they'll differ based on location. One of the differences that we'll talk about tonight is whether or not you live in a destination location where people are going to during the holidays or during the vacation times. So that could increase your business, of course. But for most of us, we have those kind of seasonal lows in that area, and it can cause a financial problem unless we take some action about that. We actually need to be a little bit more proactive than November. So a lot of the things I'm going to suggest for you, you're going to be like, I can't implement all 10. Of course you can't implement. That's way too much to try to implement all 10. Maybe you can find 2 or 3 of them that you can work with this year and can help you in this season. But be thinking about next year and getting the plans together and implementing some of those plans maybe 6 months from now so that you can be ready for the next season. All right. Good. And now let's keep in mind that there's some businesses, particularly retail, that can make so much money during the Christmas season that they can actually operate at a loss for the rest of the year because they make so much. A lot of the stores that when you walk through the mall, they make all their money in Christmas season and they just kind of stay open, during the rest of the year. So if that is a possibility for them, maybe, just maybe, we can do something to make more money and not less money during the holidays too. Remember that basically as an entrepreneur, you solve problems for your customers. What kind of problems, you might ask? Well, when someone finds a present for their hard to buy for loved one, well, that's a solution for them. And when we provide entertainment for Christmas activities, that's also problem solving for our customers. The key theme that we want to talk about today is prior planning prevents poor performance. Maybe you've heard that before. To start overcoming your business's seasonality, we want to implement some, not all, some of these strategies. We're going to talk about these. I'll go through the list real quick, and then we'll hit them real hard. Diversify. Number 2 is hosting Christmas parties and charities. Number 3 is Christmas themed classes that solve problems for your students. Number 4 is establish partnerships. That's probably one that's going to take a minute. Take a needed break is number 5. Yes. And use your knowledge of your flat seasons to keep an eye on your cash flow. Number 7 is pre-sell in 3 ways. And number 8 is follow the money. And number 9 is use your downtime to focus more on promoting your business. And the last one is to improve your product and services. So let's talk about what it means to diversify. Diversify means to look for new opportunities. Almost every business can find another product or service during their off season. And so you want to choose something that is a complement to your existing products and services. This will help fortify your entire brand throughout the year. If people in your area, like in my area, they're spending money on Christmas presents instead of their hobbies and interests, then consider having more art ready to sell during Christmas. Right now, I have 24 pieces in a local coffee shop that recently opened up here in Valdosta. And I also took smaller pieces. I have about 6 dozen pieces ready, and they are in the gift shop that's in Valdosta. Because last year I thought about this. I thought, I'm going through this seasonal lump. So, what's selling right now? And people are buying presents. And so I said, next Christmas, I am going to be ready. And so I do have that part. I don't have all 10 of these things figured out perfectly, but that one is working. Now, remember that everything that you do that your name is attached to, your personal name or your business name, and I am selling my art under Dynamic Fluid Art, the same company that I sell my classes through, is that your brand or your reputation is attached to that. So I went through the additional effort of adding a dust cover to my paintings and a COA, which is a certificate of authenticity, and some nice framing. All of this reflects on your teaching fluid art business. So make sure that you are aware of that, whatever else that you combine in product or services as you diversify. To further capitalize on the retail side of your business, especially during Christmas, is to offer Christmas gift certificates. And I do have an example of mine loaded on the group for people to be able to give as Christmas gifts. Now, if you're intimidated by that and you think, oh, I got to get something printed and 3 carbon copies, no, we don't have to do that anymore. Okay, so just go on Google, find an image that you like, search gift certificates. If you really want to step it up, then get on canva.com, which, the free account is how I made on there. Just beautiful stuff, really easy to be able to use. And then just hand number them and hand sign them and keep track of them on a document on your computer, and you will be just fine. You can even do some specials like a $50 gift certificate, buy one for your friend and you get a $25 one for free. What you might want to suggest certain amounts that cover your low priced classes, but also gives them opportunities to pay more to upgrade to your higher priced options. All right. And so there's a whole video and handout that I have available to you called the 3-tiered marketing approach. And so if you need that, comment in here and I'll make sure that you get a link to it. Okay. Then of course the learning units that are here on the group are packed with information. So number 2 is, I'm just kind of moving right along, is hosting Christmas office parties. Now you can do that at your location or theirs. And so you can go into their environment if there's an office party going on there and do the entertainment and be a part of that. Or you could also offer people a real experience of coming to your studio or coming to the venue in which you teach classes, and you can enter a special co-op arrangement with them. You can host all kinds of events, and including be mindful that charitable giving is up during the holidays. And so you want to kind of get in on that action. And so connect with different charities. And how could that look? Well, there's a local organization here that raises money it's the Junior Service League, and I think they raise money for Toys for Tots. And they have this huge Merry Market at the convention center here. And so a simple way for me to participate in that is just to do a booth, do a walk-up make and take, how we have the whole section here on spin art, and could participate that way. I can make money, they can make money. It's a win-win scenario. A larger example of that would be offering a class to their members or followers. And so the charity would market it through their email list. Remember, always go after the list. And then they'd host the location, handle the enrollment and payment, and you simply show up with the supplies and teach it on the day. Number 3 is Christmas themed classes that solve problems for your students. There is a unit that has some themes on it. We do have some that were entered in last year, including some Christmas themes. So there's a lot of things that you can do, probably some things that you've already have in mind. Vanessa does some great wood cutouts and some ornaments. Other people do door hangers. And another idea is to advertise that people are coming here to make a number of presents for their loved ones. And so instead of them just coming in and making one item, they can make 3 items, 5 items, 12 items, whatever. And they'd be the same thing. They'd be kind of production lining it, and cranking it out with the intention of being able to give those as gifts. Now, this taps into their gift giving budget. And so it's a way for them to kind of internally rationalize why they can take your class. Now, we do this naturally every year in that we, while we're out shopping for other people, we always end up buying something for ourselves, don't we? Do you do that, Kathy?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I need that. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. Now, number 4 is about establishing partnership, and this might take a little bit longer to do. So this probably is not something you're going to get into for 19, but Christmas season 2020. And so there's lots of different strategies for you to be able to do partnerships. One idea is just connecting with art supply stores, art centers, and galleries and studios. But don't forget about places like gift shops and home decor stores, right? And so the idea there is that you're going to send them business, maybe through a coupon or special offer, and then they're going to send you business too. And so you want this partnership to be a good one, and you want to make sure that that person you're partnering with does do excellent customer service, because you don't want them to have a bad experience with them, because it could reflect poorly on you. Number 5, halfway through the list, take a break. Knowing your highs and lows helps you to be able to know when is a good time for you to be able to take a break. And man, you've earned it. So for goodness sake, yeah, shut down for a bit. It's a tough balance sometimes between keeping your momentum going and also resting, but you can successfully do both by keeping the right attitude. You need breaks for variety in your life, and you need rest for a healthy lifestyle. We need both. So just keep that in mind. All right. There is in the handout for this, and I would like for you to download this. What did you say? It was 11 pages, Kathy?
Yes.
Yeah, 11 pages.
11.
The last page is a kind of a worksheet, and so we'll hit that when we get to the bottom. But to kind of explain it, the thing that came to mind was mashing up. I'm mixing my metaphors right now. A clock and a wheel, and trying to put them together. So hopefully you'll be able to track with me here. But if you can see the numbers on a clock representing of course, the months in a year, you want to be able to identify which ones are your highs and lows. And so if we could do kind of a graphing here, you see this number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, going to the spokes of the wheel, some spokes being shorter, representing slow months, and some spokes being longer, representing our higher income months. And then if we draw those out, and then connect the lines, it might look something like this. And this is kind of my wheel, from last year, and I've heard from other people that this has been very similar for them too. So what does that look like? It looks like a flat tire. So we have some flat times of the year, and that helps us to be able to project and make plans for the next year. All right. Also, I usually take a dip right when people are going back to school. So usually the August month, I'm not getting a whole lot of I've stopped scheduling classes in August because of that. So keeping that in mind, using your knowledge of that, number 6 is to decrease your expenses. That you're heading into this time. This is not a time to go hog wild crazy at Michael's because they're having a really big sale. You want to decrease your inventory, not increase your inventory. There's a whole section on here that I'm just going to kind of skim through about doing cash flow projections. You can figure out how to do that. You can get with an accountant or bookkeeper too, and they can help you if you're not very good with numbers, which many artists are not. And just know that you need to make hay when at harvest time, right? To be able to get through these lean times and not be surprised by those. One of the number one reasons for people going out of businesses such as ours is they don't properly plan. Things are going well and they're making money, and they count on keep making that money the same. And usually it does not work this way. So especially if we need to be able to cut back and be able to save some money, have it stored away, and then decrease our expenses. Number 7 is kind of an exciting concept. It's about pre-selling our workshops. So you need to use your knowledge of what you have learned about your seasonal highs and your seasonal lows and collect the money when people are spending it, right? But schedule the workshop when people aren't. So we'll talk more about that in just a second. Here's 3 ways that you can do that. Gift certificates, which we've already talked about, is another form of pre-selling. You're collecting the money when people are buying the certificate and they're spending it at some point later in the future. And so, and here's, you've all had this, I know, where you've had some people that have just been really enjoying your class and they just say, man, I wish that Pam would have came with me. All right. Well, a gift certificate is a way to make their friend come. So they can say, well, I can help you with that. Won't you buy Pam a gift certificate and you guys come back? Number 2 is pre-selling packages of your workshops in a series. So think of it this way. People actually have plenty of time in January. Many people, especially if they have kids that are out of school, school's out during the first solid week of January. they have plenty of time off to be able to come to our classes. It's just that they are not spending yet because they have had some sticker shock. They have spent too much on their Christmas. And so that usually kind of kicks back in again when people start getting their tax returns back and they feel like they have a surplus. And so they start spending money on things like coming to our classes. All right. So again, the concept here is that we want to meet their need by selling at your peak and then offering your class during your lows. A good example for that might be selling in September, October, and November, the classes that's an exclusive series that you might offer during January and February. So maybe a 4-part series in those months there. Number 3 is about pre-sale during a launch. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the word launch and open cart and what that means, this is kind of marketing today, and particularly digital marketing. You can look up those words and find a lot of information that's available for you there. Hopefully, if you've gone on Amazon, you know what an open cart is. So it's closed for a time, and then you open it up, and then you close it again. This creates something that we call scarcity and immediacy. People have one window to be able to jump in there and buy and purchase your classes, and if they are too slow, then they don't get in. Sell and collect the payment during the peak time for classes that are offered during your slow times. And so here's an example of a real-life example of what I'm talking about. One of my mentors, Matt Tommy, sells all of his workshops for the entire year at one time. You're going to be so jealous of this. When he announces that enrollment is open, they sell out in less than an hour. He sells his entire year of workshops in 1 hour. Now, how does he do this? Strategically. Throughout the entire year, he is emailing, he's interacting with his potential students, he is increasing a desire to attend through anticipation, scarcity, meaning there's limited seats, and fear of missing out. And so that when he finally opens up his cart, his classes fill up fast. Every year, he hears stories of people that missed out. And of course, he shares those stories to build urgency for the next year. I wonder if we could start shifting into that type of mindset. Wonder what would happen. Number 8, follow the money. Literally travel teach. Do you teach at destination locations where people are traveling during the holidays or vacations? If not, then the money is leaving your area to be spent elsewhere. Now read this. During the holidays, is money literally traveling towards you or away from you? If you teach at vacation locations, you can increase the number of the classes at those locations. If not, then consider starting to offer classes at destination locations. And it can be a whole lot of fun too. I always bring my family. My wife's a teacher, so I look at the school year calendar in advance, and I start planning out where we're going to be when we have those 3-day weekend, 4-day weekend, spring break, fall break, winter breaks, and holidays. And we are off somewhere, and they are usually having a blast while I'm teaching during the day. I also get the extra help because they help me sit up in the morning, then they go hit the beach, and then they come back and help me pack up. So it could be a whole lot of fun. And so I teach at a local arts center or offer a retreat at some really fun locations. And this is another way, again, you can pre-sell these, and these are workshops and retreats. This can be a huge advantage to your business. Number 9, use your downtime to focus more on promoting your business. So you can use many of the different marketing approaches that we have offered in this group, such as contests, limited time promotions, refer a friend deal, and then special deals during your off season. Just keep in mind that it's just never a good idea to discount so much that you are losing money. It's not a good idea. Always make it a profitable situation, and consider something called batching. When we are marketing our business, we are, sorry for going up and down, you can batch social media emails to be able to go out in the future, right? And so you plan those ahead of time. That's a smart way of doing things. Doing a lot of batching during the slow season is even smarter. You can schedule, you can be doing research, you can be preparing how you're going to do marketing in the slow time, so that whenever May hits, if that's your season, you have all those things already in place. Means staying in contact with your customers throughout the year. And if you can automate that, that's great. You can use email autoresponders on your email system. And one thing that I've just recently adopted is using something called ManyChat, and that's MANY chat, one word, there is a very similar app that is something totally different. So I don't want to go into what that is. But mini chat, so that you can chat with many people, is the idea there. And it is it's a bot. It's a responder that hooks right into Facebook Messenger. And so you know how when people come on your business page and they send you a message, I rarely get notification of those things, and so I don't know what it is, but I find out usually delayed, and so I would love to respond right away. Well, the Autobot can respond for you, and you can even get into some sophisticated programming in there where it can start answering questions for them. There's some tips on how to do your social media, so make sure that you go back to the handout and read those. And so we can just get to number 10. 10, improve your services. Were you too busy to follow up with your student surveys? I was. I have literally a stack of surveys. This is not even the beginning of them that I have not even responded to yet from my students, and some of them are asking for follow-up opportunities to be able to buy my products or do additional classes. And so, I've just been too busy. So when things slow down, now's a good time to dig out your surveys and work with them, or to actually do a survey with your students. If you didn't pass out a survey, or if you just want to get some additional information, go ahead and contact them. When things are slow, it's a great time to do that. Call them, post polls in your groups or emails. Keep in mind that you want to get an understanding of who they are, not just their demographics, how they would describe, but their psychographics. And your psychographic profile is something that we're going to spend a lot of time on in the next coaching call next month. You're going to want to be there for that. And that's the one where we're going to be talking about the 5 Ps of people, problem, positioning, planning, and promotion strategies. And that's going to lean heavily on knowing your client avatar, and their psychographic information is a lot more important than their demographic information. So while you are doing these surveys, you can begin now, just try to keep in mind what type of person your ideal client avatar is. And that will be the key thing to being able to reach them. So gaining their feedback to be able to prep for marketing. Your slower times is a great time to do this effort. And then get needed feedback by asking questions like, did we meet your expectations? How likely are you to repeat business with us? What would have made your experience with us better? And what products or services do you wish that we carried? And are there any features missing from our current services? Now, if all that sounded a little bit familiar to you, then maybe you watched my little short video that talked about the top 10, the number 10 of these 10. So I know we're racing through these right now to try to get into our promise time, and it's smack dab 9:30 right now. In a few minutes, we've been going for 30 minutes. But I'm going to put those out there and let those float out there. So you have your handout, you have the worksheet that we're about to briefly go over, but then you'll probably see some more videos that'll help remind you of these things too. All right. So seasonality is to be accepted as a part of owning your own business, and it takes planning to make the most of your business. Let's take a look at what that worksheet's going to look like. All right. So it's just really a blank clock for you to be able to print this. You can just print off this page if you want to, and just estimate, just kind of draw your spoke, out. So I would have some short ones on Christmas, some short ones on January. Come, March and April, that this area, I'm starting to get long spokes, then. And so you can take a look and see if you have where your flats are. It's just a good visual aid. You can also then use this as like a cyclical calendar. And so that you're going to be busy teaching, but real soon you're going to have to stay busy by marketing during your slump period, because a lot of times people just get depressed because there's nobody coming to their classes, and they shrug their shoulders and pout, and that's kind of an immature attitude about business, because we are business people, and so we have to think like that. All right. So I would love if you would fill out your clock wheel and take a picture of it and then post it on this group. We would love to see everybody's, because where you are, you might have very different calendars. You might have very different flats in other places or strong times. So I'd love to see that. This is the any questions for us, Kathy, on that? I have lost Kathy, and I did not notice. Oh, excuse me. What happened to Kathy? There she is. She's waving.
I said I'm backstage. I got back on. I got knocked off.
Oh,
But
did
I
you? I'm
I
sorry.
was in the back room there.
Great. What did we have any questions that we should go? We should pause
You
here.
know what? I think everybody was kind of holding their questions because Brenda
You said that.
Johns was the last one to actually post. So
Okay.
I think this is probably a good time if somebody wants to post a question so that we can kind of look
Yeah.
at them.
Yeah, and I'm seeing as some wonderful people have joined us here. I see that Autumn Orozco has joined us here, and Victoria. Victoria, I saw that you got my course today. I got notification in the back office that you you joined my my beginner's fluid art class. So I want your input on that. And hey, Sally, you're right. You have not been interacting very much. Where have you been? We have been missing you. All right.
Must
Okay,
not
so
see the same ones you do.
I had to look at the Facebook one. Yeah, because it tells me.
That's what I'm actually on, but I don't.
Oh, really? Okay.
Strange.
I just have a superior phone than you. Yeah.
I feel left out. I'm not on my phone. I'm on my tablet.
That's
The
right.
things I don't normally go on.
And I'm on my computer laptop. Yeah. All right. So the progress question of the month is are you planning now for 2020? And remember, I saw this online. I thought it was cute. And remember, 2020 vision for 2020. So let's have a vision for 2020. Do you have 2020 vision for 2020? Good. Next month, what we're going to talk about is how to get 100 students in your class ASAP using the 5 Ps: people, problem, planning, promotion, and positioning on there. So that's going to be a fun one, and that uses my counseling background of psychographics. Sounds spooky, doesn't it? Psychographics. All right. Well, guys, if there's no more questions, we'll go ahead and wrap up here. We're really, I'm proud of us. We made it through that list. You let me know if, because I'm very correctable. I would love your input. If it sounded like I was rushing and I really just need to make these smaller or divide them in half, I love that kind of feedback. So if you feel free to private message me or put it here in the chat too. But we did get the information from people saying that we were going for like an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 20 minutes, I think, one time on these coaching calls, and that was just too much. So we're trying to get all of our content down to 30 minutes, and then we can just kind of hang out here with any Q&A afterwards. So we're done presenting the information. So if you don't want to hang around for any additional Q&A, now would be a good time to go ahead and log off and go do something else. We will have.
It was informative.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Thanks, Daniel. I don't pretend that everybody's going to be able to take these 10 and do all of them. It's too much, right? And so I don't want anybody feeling overwhelmed. Nobody is going to do all 10 of these. It's like our group. We've got these 15 learning units, someone coming in new, like the people that we welcome today into the group. It can seem really overwhelming. Don't feel overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. Pick out what seems to be a good fit for you right now. Just kind of be in the group and just absorb by osmosis. That will change your mindset in a slower way that you don't even recognize what's going on. And so all of a sudden you're starting to see, I really resisted the idea of passing out a survey to my students, but now I can see how that fits. Maybe you want to do it a little different way. Maybe you want to email them afterwards and have them go do a Google form, survey, whatever, but getting that information is crucial. One of the things that I resisted for way too long was building my email list. I thought, we're in the world of social media now. We don't need email. Email is dead. No, it ain't, honey. Email is alive and well and kicking. And so we need to be doing our lists and gathering those. Good. All right. Well, Kathy, you got anything to say as
I do, and one of the things that I thought was really going to be difficult is actually not hitting the sales during downtime, and because that's a lot. When I have my downtime, that's a lot of what I do. Is I've saved the money so that I can go out and I can actually do my shopping while I am down. And then when I have my classes, I don't have to go and get that stuff. So it actually saves me time.
Yeah. And I'm with you. And that's if someone has cash flow issues, they know that they're in trouble, then they have to be very mindful about those things. I'm with you.
But if I can hit the sales, I know that I'm actually saving money.
Oh, yeah. Well, knock on wood, I have not paid full price for a canvas in 3 years.
No.
And so I'm buying those best deals, those packets, and when they go on sale and getting them for dirt cheap.
Right. And then also marketing too, some of the different things that you were talking about in that. And I just thought about lunch coupons and exchanges with businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Different things. You give me a coupon to give your people, and I'll give you a coupon to give my people.
Mm-hmm. I do that. I also I'm a barterer. I like to barter.
Yes, I am too.
Yeah. And so when I sold a commission piece to a coffee house, and our deal was that they paid me $500 in cash, but then it was a $600 piece, and then $100 in gift certificates for the and I have really enjoyed $100 worth of cappuccinos.
Yeah. Hey,
and enjoying that. Yeah,
I enjoy my coffee too. I really do. And then I thought about, just tell people, bring a friend, and your class gets $5 off, and her class is $5 off. So nice. $10 right there. Yeah. Just if you bring somebody who hasn't been here before.
That kind of gives me an idea of a promotion. It'd be nice to throw that into the future by saying you get a $5 gift certificate that they can add to, and then while they're filling it out for them at the end of the class, they could go, would you like to, make this into a, $50 gift certificate, by chipping in $45 more.
That's a good idea. So, Excellent. Yeah. Excellent. Help them to grow,
That's right. So, yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think we'll wrap it up here. It has been really great being on here with y'all. Remember to I did an event in the group for Maggie's Facebook site review. So join us back here in exactly a week, and we'll see that. If not, then I'll see you in a month, and for the next coaching call, and of course, interacting on the group. Thanks so much for co-hosting, Kathy.
No problem. I didn't do much today, but you didn't even miss me when I was gone. See how it feels to be left alone?
No, we did.
You didn't even know.
I see that Victoria has just jumped on here. Do you see her question on there?
Oh, yes, I do. I need to repeat your question or questionnaire. Maybe we can start a discussion in the group. Yes. I have then filled them out, filled them out. But questions aren't giving me the marketing verbiage I would like. So she's interested in marketing verbiage.
Yeah. That's one thing that you can pull out of there. The main thing that we're going to focus on next month is that really, really, really understanding. There's a difference between demographics and psychographics of who our ideal client avatar is, right? Real brief. And so remember, guys, if I promise you 30 minutes, and so you can go if you don't want to listen to this.
Beth has to leave. Bye, Beth.
Okay, bye, Beth. We'll talk to you soon. All right. We'll see you next Tuesday. You're twins, 40-year-old twin ladies, right? One is a conservative Democrat. And the things that stress her is that she feels like she's may not be as pretty as she used to be, and keeping her husband interested, and concerns about her children. All right, her twin is never married, and runs and owns a really hip coffee shop in a big city. And her concerns that worry her, that keep her up at night, is the planet, and that it's the trash in the ocean, and these she is does not belong to a religion, but considers herself very spiritual. Now, the demographic, these are obviously two very different folks, right? And what they would, one of them might decide to come to your art class and the other one would not, right? So we're trying to get into the head of this person. Now, their demographics are identical, because they're twins. They're 40-year-old females, blah, 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 right? But their psychographics, who they are, the type of person that they are, their interests are very different than each other. So that's what we're going to talk about. Just give you a little bit of a sampling there. From when you're organizing your surveys, try to aim at getting that type of information. Now, some of this you're not going to be able to get from a piece of paper or them filling out a form. It's going to be the conversations that you're having during your class. It's just you being friendly and getting to know people, right? And, you know, I hope we all do this naturally just because we love people. I hope that that's why you got into teaching, is we just really love people and like connecting with them and knowing them. And that gives you some insight into what publication, if you're going to put an ad in somewhere, right? Think about those two ladies I just talked about, the twins. You put an ad in a certain publication, you can be guaranteed that one of them isn't going to see it, right? And so you got to aim that. You got to know who your ideal, I keep using that word, ideal client avatar. Maybe the people that are currently coming to your, sorry if I hurt anybody's feelings, but if they're the people that are currently coming and no-showing to your $35 class, maybe they're not your ideal client avatar. If you want to do that, that's great, right? Be happy with that. But if you're saying, Casey, I want someone to pay $150 to come to my class, right? And I want to have X number of them, then we can get there, but you have to know this information. You're going to have to make some different decisions and some different choices about that. So hopefully that does, it's a little teaser as far as the difference between demographics and psychographics. All right. Anything else, Kathy?
No, I think that's about it.
Great. Victoria, please start a chain. Yeah, start a thread, a discussion in the group, and we'll all chime in. That'd be great. Y'all, it has been really great being with you. I look forward to seeing you soon. See ya.
Bye.